So today we're going to talk about how to prepare yourself to move your loved one into an assisted living facility. There's a lot of practicality to it, things that I did not know before we moved mom 18 months ago. I waited to make this video until I was sure that I had enough experience to share. I had had enough conversations with various people that are both caregivers who have had tons of experience with this. I feel very confident that these 10 things I'm going to share with you today are going to set you up for success, and I'm really glad that you're here. So let's talk about the hard stuff first. It's a lot. Getting someone ready to move to assisted living is a major change for them. It's a major change for you, whether it's your parent, your spouse, your sister, a friend, whoever it is. There is a lot involved in even getting them to the point where they are ready to stop living independently. I'm not going to just gloss over that. I've done several videos about the process we went through with my mom. It was very dramatic. But way back then when I moved her in, I was like, when I feel like I have the experience, I am making the video that I wish I had at the time. And so this is that. 10 tips, practical tips for moving your loved one into assisted living, what you need to know, and let's dive right in. So the number one thing is, for the most part, you're going to need to furnish their apartment. Now, that apartment could be anything like a studio, which is what mom has, all the way up to like a 2-bedroom apartment. It really just depends on their finances, but it also depends on what works for them. Mom is living alone, and we actually found that having a smaller unit was better for her, less confusion. She's able to keep track of things more easily, and that was just the right call. But make sure you furnish it in a thoughtful way with kind of an eye towards universal design, because they may need assistance at some point. A walker, a wheelchair. Mom currently has a walker, and in her first assisted living apartment, we did not allow enough space for that. And we really didn't allow enough space for other people that would be in the unit, because you've got caregivers, clinicians, mom's nail lady comes in. You want to make sure there's plenty of room to move around. I would suggest starting with less, because you can always add more if your loved one asks for it. Mom has needed far less than we expected. Her first move was in the same town where her home was, or close to it. And so we were able to move a lot of her things in there, thinking that would bring her comfort. Ironically, her new place, we didn't move anything that she'd had before, so everything was brand new. And she actually has seemed to like it kind of better. It feels like a fresh start to her. She feels very independent. She's like a grown-up lady with her own apartment, and it's been kind of fun to watch. So don't automatically assume that you need to set it up to look just like their home. In fact, having it be a complete departure could be a good call. I mean, you know your loved one better than anybody. Most likely kind of a combination therein might be the best way to go. But I was amazed about what mom didn't ask for, especially because she was someone who had been so attached to her stuff. But less really is more, especially if they have dementia. And yeah, we've been kind of shocked at what she hasn't asked for and hasn't needed. The other piece about furniture is make sure that things are designed with their mobility in mind. Twice now we have gotten mom a bed that was too big. You'd think we would have learned it the first time, but we didn't. You're under a lot of stress. You're doing the best you can, but make sure they can get in and out of their bed easily. That big platform bed or the box spring and mattress that maybe they had in their home probably won't work in assisted living. So make sure they can easily get in and out of beds and chairs. We got mom a recliner. I'm kind of wishing now we had gotten her the power recliner, which helps her getting up out of the chair. But her regular recliner has been super helpful. Sometimes she sleeps in it. It's really good for her to be able to put her legs up. So yeah, just be thoughtful about the furnishings and make sure that they work with their current mobility, and it makes it as cozy and welcoming as possible for them. Okay, number 2. If you plan to be there often, make space for you. I have a little chair and an ottoman. I have a blanket that I like. I have a tea kettle that I keep up high so I can make us tea when I'm over. And I really think that when I get older, my hope is that my children always feel like my home is their home. So that's kind of the attitude I've taken about Mom's apartment. One of my favorite things to do is go over there, have tea with her, have some cookies, watch a Hallmark movie. Lately, she's really liking Little House on the Prairie and Leave It to Beaver, which is great. It's so much fun to just sit there and be with her. And I want it to feel like I'm visiting her at her home, not like I'm visiting her at a hospital. And I think if you make it kind of warm and cozy for you, you'll be more inclined to go. I'll take my laptop, I'll work over there, and it's companionship for her, and it is just really, really comforting for me. So make it for your loved one, but also don't feel bad about making it a little comfortable for you as well. Okay, number 3, bedding and towels. You're going to need a lot of both. I would suggest 3 full sets of bedding because there can be laundry day and then there can also be accidents, and sometimes there can be an accident on laundry day. So I would say 3 sets of bedding, and I would say at least 2 full sets of towels with extra hand towels and extra washcloths. And you want to make sure you label everything. Now, I had tried like iron-on and sew-in, and finally, one of the caregivers at her current assisted living said, Jen, just write it in Sharpie. Write their room number in Sharpie in everything that they own. You also want to do this for clothes, shoes, hand towels, washcloths, sheets, everything. Label it with their room number. And nobody is losing anything on purpose, but all of the laundry goes into the same central laundry room. And as much as they try to keep track of it all, those caregivers have a lot going on. And at most assisted living facilities, the caregivers are also the ones doing laundry, or also the ones serving the meals. These people are doing a lot of heavy lifting. So make it as easy as possible to keep track of your loved one's stuff. And should it make its way out of their apartment, for it to make its way home, and a good Sharpie and doing that in every single thing that they own goes a long way towards making that possible. Okay, clothing. You want to have at least 7 bottoms, 7 tops, a light layer, and a heavy layer. This is something that was a bigger challenge than I would have thought. Mom had an extensive wardrobe in her home. If we brought all of her clothes over, it would be way too overwhelming for her. It would be way too overwhelming for her caregivers that are helping her get dressed. So try to give them a capsule wardrobe. A lot of her clothes that used to fit don't anymore. She's actually lost some weight, but she's carrying her weight differently. And we've really had to think differently about her clothes. I have found a lot of good petites with Kohl's that work for her. But depending on what your loved one struggles with, Mom does have her caregivers that help her get dressed every day. And I want to make the job as easy as possible for them. And Mom also still really, really likes to look cute. So we want to make sure that we give her clothes that make her feel beautiful. And so, yeah, that's a thing, that just because she's in an assisted living facility, that doesn't mean she can't look cute. She still has the colors that look really good on her. We try to honor that as much as we can, and yet make sure that there's not too much in there. So yeah, that's a good basic rule of thumb, and know that you might need to buy some new clothes. Also on clothing, make sure everything is machine washable and machine dryable. Mom has always had really nice fabrics, cashmere, wool, silk. I am my mother's daughter. What can I say? Those things will not work in an assisted living environment because there's no way you can ask them to, drip dry a special sweater. So just make sure everything's machine washable and dryable. Kohl's has been a great resource. Costco has been a great resource. That's where I just bought her winter coat. Very reasonably priced, yet very good quality, because you don't want to go too cheap on the quality. Because they're using a commercial washer and dryer, you don't want the clothes to just fall apart. So you do want them to be comfortable, durable, and also look cute. So that's been kind of a process. But in general, having 7 outfits for the 7 days of the week will serve you fine, and then you can add on as needed. Okay, disposable underwear. Mom will call these her diapers. We never call them that. We always refer to them as disposable underwear. Mentally, just get over this. Like, it is part of the deal. Both men and women, if they live long enough, will have some level of incontinence, and disposable underwear is going to be part of the budget. And yes, you do have to pay for that. I like to make sure Mom has at least 2 weeks worth. We just keep that stocked. You can usually get them at a fairly good price if you go to Costco or Sam's Club. It's just part of it. And you do just kind of get over it. When I take her on outings, I always make sure I have an extra one in my bag. One little tip on that, if you find yourself in a position because you're at a doctor's office or they're visiting at your house or whatever, where you're the one changing those for them, they do rip at the sides. I think I maybe didn't know that. And that's a lot easier than trying to take them off. And if that's, bothering you right now, to be honest, this is part of it. So you just kind of have to move through it and get over it. And unless you're never going to take your loved one out of the assisted living facility, you're going to have to be prepared to help them change their undergarments. And I don't know how to make that. It's a very, you just kind of have to get past it. And at first it bothers you a little bit, and then you do just get over it. You move on, you accept that this is part of having her with us, and I would not trade our time with her for the world. And this is just a very actual and factual situation, and they are expensive. So just keep that in mind. It's just something that has to happen, especially for women who struggle with urinary tract infections. They do need to be changed frequently, so make sure they always have ample supplies on hand. Okay, number 6, get to know the staff. Make sure that they know that you're there often. We've had mostly amazing caregivers, but they're not all amazing caregivers. So get to know them so that you can really, be so grateful for the good ones, but also so you can have your eyes on ones that maybe are less good, and the process for reporting situations that are concerning to you. I've kind of looked at it like when the kids were in school. Sometimes you have fantastic teachers. Most of the time you have fantastic teachers. Every once in a while you have teachers that don't understand your kid, or you have to be more involved. The same is going to be true of caregivers. So keep your eye on the situation, but make sure they know you. Make sure they know that you're around a lot, and make sure should a problem arise, what is the appropriate process to make a complaint or to share something. Put things in writing if you're concerned about something. I'm going to do a whole separate video about what to do if you think you need to move your loved one because the care home they're in is just not sufficient anymore. And that can happen even in the best assisted living facility. Management changes, people change. And when Kathy, who worked with the placement agency, found us this place, she said, one thing I always like to tell people is just assume you're going to have to move mom at least once, because the place that is perfect for them right now may not be down the road, either because the place changes management, or maybe your loved one requires a higher level of care. Maybe the place where they are doesn't have the best level of that care. So as much as I would love to say that mom is where she will be for the rest of her life, I don't know that that's the case. And we always have our eyes wide open to make sure she's getting the best care possible. Okay, so just keep an eye out, get to know everybody, be grateful. I brought them all chocolate when I came back from Switzerland. I'm down there a lot. And honestly, for me, it's been a bonus because I feel like I have kind of built in community down there. Again, it feels like having being in my mom's neighborhood, not like visiting her in a hospital. And I think that makes it better for her, and it certainly makes it feel better for me. Okay, grocery delivery. As much as possible, try to outsource so that you don't feel like just an errand person. Mom has a lot of needs, and I need to be very careful that I maintain my life and relationships and all of that. And doing grocery delivery really does help, because I know that if she's running low on her disposable underwear, if she's out of bananas, or if she wants her crackers or whatever, I can just get on my computer and order that, and she's got it, and all is right with her world. Even though she's only 10 minutes away, there's no scenario where I go over there where we're not in for at least an hour or an hour and a half or sometimes 2 hours, just because of the way that it works. So I have to really be careful that I'm not just running over there every time there's a problem, and grocery delivery really helps out with that. So sign up for grocery delivery. You will not be sorry. Okay, number 8, when you're first moving in, allow them to settle into the routine without you being a helicopter child. They need to learn how to advocate for themselves. They need to learn what to do if they run into trouble. We've really had to help mom know, don't call me when there's an issue, press your pendant. That pendant is how her caregivers will come. You need to help them have confidence in the caregivers. For a while there, she would call me at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I started turning off my phone. I do have it to where if the assisted living calls, it would come through as an emergency number. But if mom has a problem in the middle of the night, I am not the call. She needs to be working with the caregivers at the assisted living facility. And I think especially in the beginning, allowing them to learn how all that works and getting to know the caregivers themselves. And again, having that autonomy is just the best for everybody involved. And so then I can go visit and it can really be a visit instead of feeling like I have to attend to her every need, because there are people there that are far more qualified and able to give her what she needs. All right, number 9 is kind of related. You cannot and should not solve every problem. Mom would like me to be there 24 hours a day. And the reality is that would be the best care for her, but that is not something that I can provide. And so we need to make sure we're realistic about our own lives and that we're still maintaining our own relationships, our own health, our own personal care. We're taking care of our own doctor's appointments and, health and going to yoga and whatever it is that fills your cup. You will do your loved one no good if you wear yourself out and then you end up with physical problems yourselves. You can look up so many statistics about the health of caregivers. It can actually go downhill really, really quickly. So make sure you're taking care of yourself first. Do not sacrifice everything about your own life. Not obvious things like health and things like that, but even like fun things. Like I'm still going on trips. I'm still enjoying time with my friends. Would mom prefer that I just focus on her all the time? Oh, 100% she would, but that does not serve me well. And because she hopefully will be around for many years to come, I want to still feel positive about taking care of her and about being there and about visiting her and being able to be there for her when I can. But I have to maintain my own life, my own interests, my own work, all of those kinds of things. So make sure you are taking very, very good care of yourself and don't sacrifice everything about your life to take care of your loved one with dementia. Okay, and then number 10, be prepared for what happens next. When there is inevitably a downturn in mom's health or mental status, where she might require memory care, she might require more medical intervention, we have had lots of conversations, myself and my brother and my sister, about what that should look like and also what her end of life will look like. We have no way of knowing. She could be with us for 5 more minutes or 10 more years. And it's kind of this strange phase that you live in. I've kind of accepted it now. I've asked more clinicians and caregivers like for a timeline, but nobody can give you that because it's just humans. We're just like this. And mom has officially lived longer than any woman in her entire family. Well, any man for that matter, but women tend to live longer. And so we're just enjoying every minute with her. And one of the things that takes the stress out of me is knowing that we have an end of life plan completely laid out, that when that happens, it will be hard for all of us, but trying to decide what to do is not one of the issues that we'll have. It's in writing. We know her wishes. We know what's going to work. And we just take each day at a time and try to enjoy her as much as we can while still providing her the best quality of life and the best quality of care possible. So if you are moving someone into assisted living, understand it is a lot like moving a child into a dorm room. And then you do have to supervise a lot. So it's kind of like moving a kindergartner into a dorm room, if that makes sense, because you're giving them everything they need to live independently, but then you still have to be very involved to make sure that they're getting the best care possible. And it's not an easy road. This takes a lot of time, a lot of time. I'm grateful to do it. It would take even more of basically it would take all of my time if I let it, but I still have to maintain a healthy life and boundaries and relationships for myself, and then still be able to give my mom as much as I can in a way where it feels warm and happy and we can still be a family. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or if there's anything I didn't address, please put those in the comment section below. I'll get to as many of them as I can. I do have a whole playlist that's about our journey with mom and dementia. I will link that up here and also in the description box if you're interested. And if you'd like to join us here on the channel, I do a little of this, a little of that, a lot of travel, home organization, and talking about our journey with mom's dementia. And I hope you will subscribe and you'll join us. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're finding joy, and I'll see you in the next video.